How's it going, everyone? My name is Derek Afasi. I'm the owner of Afasi Financial Group and RetireSharp.com. I just wanted to put together this video for you and go over, can I withdraw money from my 401k account, and kind of explain to you the process, some of the rules that prevent individuals from doing so, or if they're not familiarized with the rules, where a lot of people make mistakes and they have to pay large penalties to the IRS for pulling out the money too soon or leaving the money in there too late. So ultimately, you have to make sure that you're following a specific set of guidelines, and then ultimately how you can leverage your 401k accounts to customize specific to a plan that may work for your exact situation, the some of the goals that you want to have accomplished. So the very first bullet point, I say, what rules should you follow for taking your money out? Now, an individual that was placing dollars into a 401k account, a 401k is a type of qualified retirement plan that's set up through an employer for an employee. So an individual is working for a company. They might have different, group health insurance, different group benefits. One of those benefits might be to say, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Employee, you could now start contributing to our 401k plan that we have set up, through this company. It has to be a private institution. Hence 401k has to be private institution. 403b would be public. TSP, thrift savings plan, is like through federal. So there's a whole slew of different things, but ultimately the most important aspect is it's deemed a qualified retirement account. It's qualified through the IRS, meaning that you have certain advantages and then certain disadvantages, meaning you have to play by the rules when it's a qualified retirement account and it's deemed the 401k. What I mean by that is when this individual is working for the company, they have options to go take a portion of their salary and place it into this type of retirement bucket. So the individual's placing it in each month that they're working, each year that they're working, they're placing more and more dollars into this retirement bucket. This bucket is now linked to different sorts of mutual fund options. Typically, it's mutual funds that are set up through 401k plans, and you could diversify your different options. You could get help from other advisors on how to allocate that properly. But ultimately, the hopes of this employee is to set money aside for retirement, place it into this bucket, and then hopefully get a positive interest credit that comes back to make this bucket larger and larger and larger at the end of the day, at the end of the year. So now you have individuals that are in their 50s, they're in their 60s, they're looking to retire, and now this bucket should be, significant, should be much larger than obviously when you first started contributing into that plan. So how exactly can you take this money out? Well, the first rule that we want to talk about is something known as a 59 and a half rule. So what this states is if you're before the age of 59 and a half and you try to pull money from this account, you're going to get dinged fully taxable, and you're also going to get dinged with a 10% penalty through the IRS. So you can look at all the different IRS.govs. You could see exactly anytime you look at the 401k, I recommend to do that to see, what sorts of penalties that you would, receive in this specific year that you're watching this video. So right now it's about 10% penalty and then also be fully taxable. All of the money that's coming out of 401k accounts are fully taxable. So what happened was, if we use an example of an individual that makes $100,000 a year and he or she decides I want to place in $10,000 per year into my 401k account, well, this $10,000 that they were placing in, that contribution, was deemed pre-tax. It's tax deductible. So at the end of the year, their adjusted gross income would be as if they only made $90,000 if everything else is equal. All other indicators being equal, $90,000 for easy math. The $10,000 was going into the qualified retirement account, so therefore Uncle Sam was saying, okay, this $10,000 was tax deductible. It's going into a bucket that's growing tax deferred. But ultimately, what's going to happen is, if the market's always going up and you're at least beating out whatever fees are in your account, you should be having a larger amount. So after this bucket is nice and large, the government states that you can't pull your money out before 59 and a half, or else they're going to penalize you. Any distribution that you make, any time that you make a withdrawal from this account, you're going to be fully taxed. So let's give the example of this person that's making $100,000 a year, and he decides, okay, I want to go and pull out 200 grand from my 401k account that year. Well, they're going to add whatever the money is that that person made plus the 200,000 that they pulled out of their 401k. And that's just a bogus example, but understand now this person could be deemed into a new tax bracket because it's showing on paper that they made $300,000 that year. So all of those monies that they pulled out is fully taxable. The reason why it's fully taxable is because that individual is getting a tax deduction when they were placing those dollars in there. So they're saying, okay, you'll get pre-tax money, tax deductible, but when it comes time to pull this money out, Uncle Sam is going to be able to, basically collect his money and collect the taxes off of that. So if you try pulling it before 59 and a half, you get penalized. There's also another rule that says, and this is where I say it's between a rock and a hard place, the rock and the hard place being 70 and a half. Because at age 70 and a half, you can't just keep deferring that growth and just leaving it to a new beneficiary, have that person deferring that growth and leave it to a new beneficiary. The government wants to have their taxes. They said, hey, listen, we gave you a tax deduction. Now that we have, tax rates are essentially going to be going higher, or indicators are leading toward tax rates going higher. Ultimately, as this bucket is nice and large and you start taking distributions for retirement income, every dollar you take is going to be fully taxable. If, let's say, you hit age 70 and a half, you have something known as a required minimum distribution. So what this states is there's going to be a percentage that you're going to have to pull off of all of your qualified retirement accounts to suffice this RMD at age 70 and a half. At age 71 and a half, it's going to grow higher. So maybe it might be 2% at age 70 and a half, then it might be, 3.25% at 71 and a half, then it might be, higher and higher and higher. So the longer that you live, the more Uncle Sam is going to require you to start siphoning out those monies. So if you're looking to utilize, so that's obviously a problem, because some people say, I want to go and just, maybe I don't need to touch my 401k account. I have a pension plan, I have Social Security income, I have all these different things. I just want to leave this as an inheritance. And there's ways on how you could maximize out. It's known as RMD maximization strategies, where you could essentially suffice your RMD and also leave a tax-free death benefit to your loved ones by leveraging old 401k accounts or IRA accounts or other types of qualified retirement accounts. So there are different solutions for that. Now, majority of individuals, we understand, are going to be utilizing those retirement savings for retirement income. And that's where the other problem lies, is first off, how exactly can you pull money from these accounts and avoid any sorts of negatives? So let me clear off the screen. So one of the things I mentioned is that, individuals start really looking towards withdrawal strategies right when they're coming time for retirement, right when they understand, okay, I've accumulated this nest egg. I want to try to pull this money out properly to make sure that I'm doing the most, tax efficient strategies and make sure ultimately I'm not, losing my butt on pulling money out of my 401k and falling victim to how millions and millions of seniors are falling victim to outliving their retirement savings each and every year. And what happens with that is something known as reverse dollar cost averaging. I mentioned this in a lot of videos, but what it ultimately says is just like that retirement bucket, that 401k bucket I showed you on the other screen, there's certain negatives associated with that 401k account. You have 401k related fees, you have mutual fund related fees. If you're utilizing a financial advisor, you have advisor fees, something known as a wrap fee. You have something known as downward market loss. You are also pulling income from those accounts, and then you also have inflationary risk. So all of these are negatives to your 401k accounts. These are all negatives to qualified retirement accounts. Even if you rolled over your 401k into IRAs, these negatives could still be there. So if you have mutual fund related fees, 401k related fees, maybe that'll average, and there was a study out by Morningstar said that average mutual fund related fees average right around 1.31%. So let's just say 1%. Advisor fee, it averaged around 1.18% according to Bloomberg. Well, let's just say 1%. So right there, you're 2% in the hole before your account does anything. Before your mutual funds perform anything, you already have to start paying fees. So let's say, like in 2008 was a drastic example, but the average portfolio lost 57%. So let's just say if your portfolio loses 10%, well, now you have another negative to your account. Then you start pulling income from this account. If you look online or if you look through different financial publications or, different financial advisors, they try to say, oh, if you comfortably leave your money in the market, you should be able to at least siphon out 4%. It's known as a prudent man's rule, 4% per year, and there's about a 90% chance that you're not going to outlive those monies. Well, the prudent man's rule has now been disproved because the risk and the volatility in the market has drastically reduced accounts due to this reverse dollar cost averaging effect. So that last aspect is income. And then also each year that you're pulling out income, well, you might have certain expenses that are inflationary expenses. So that maybe when you're 65 years old, when you want to retire, you might be siphoning out, $30,000 per year from your 401k. But then when you hit age 70, you might have to start siphoning out $36,000, $40,000, etc., because your expenses, the cost of goods and services are going to be increasing with the rate of inflation. So all these negatives are going and essentially slicing big big chunks out of your retirement bucket, therefore liquidating your account that much quicker. So that's why you see these situations where you have baby boomers, you have seniors that are retiring, and then they outlive their money within 7 years, 5 years, 10 years. It's because they did not incorporate this reverse dollar cost averaging. They assumed that the market would always be going up like it did in the 1980s, 1990s, when we had the largest growth in the stock market. And there's different reasons for that. So let me clear up the screen. So one of the last points I want to make is they customize to best options and save money. There's ways on how you could leverage. When I'm saying leverage, you take only small portions of your 401k accounts to leverage for your specific income goal. If, let's say, an individual has $50,000 worth of expenses and they go and they utilize, let's say, Social Security is going to bring them $30,000. Let's say they have pension income for another $10,000. Well, now they have this $10,000 gap that's sitting there when they want to retire. Let's say, rule of thumb, let's say it's, 65, 67 years old. There's going to be a correct dollar amount that you could pull out from your 401k. Let's say somebody had $500,000 sitting in their 401k account, but they need to have $10,000 per year to live off of for income. Well, you want to make sure that you could leverage your exact age at this time that you want to set up your plan to say, okay, I'm 61 years old, I want to retire at age 66. Or I'm, 65 years old, I want to retire in 30 days. Whatever that case may be, it has to be customized specific to your situation. So what we do is we deal on a national basis. We have something known as the Retire Sharp planning system that allows us to take an individual situation, go through all the carriers out there because we're an independent agency. We have access to every single carrier, proprietary relationships as well, and we try to mold the strategy specific to your needs so that you're only using the smallest amount of dollars from your retirement accounts and only as much as necessary to accomplish your goal successfully. This could eliminate this whole reverse dollar cost averaging effect. So that means no mutual fund related fees, no advisor fees, no, most importantly, downward market losses. Well, you still receive gains when the market goes up, but not receive losses when the market goes down. You could receive income. You could receive you could attach lifetime income riders to specifically designed IRA contracts to make sure that if you're turning on, this $10,000 example, well, then that would be $10,000 that will go to you for the rest of your life. Then we also incorporate inflationary protection. So maybe at age 65, you're receiving $10,000. Maybe at age 69, that's going to be $13,000. So we're stepping up and we're setting up proper laddering strategies to make sure that when you retire, that day that you retire, you have full peace of mind that you leverage your chips properly. You didn't use your full accounts. You still have liquid cash. That's the ultimate goal, is to have as much money in liquid cash as possible. And you're only using specifically designed products and strategies that will correlate to, this income goal, this inflationary goal, the emergency fund goal, whatever that case may be. So, this is ultimately how we try to help out individuals on a daily basis. And we try to educate through literature pieces, through video tutorials, all of these different things customized to your specific needs. So if you found value in this video, feel free to give our 1-800 number a call. It's 1-800-566-1002. We offer 24/7 customer service, meaning there will always be somebody there, weekends, holidays, days, nights, whatever the case may be, whatever your preference is, your work schedule. You give us a call at any time and we'll make sure that a specialist is dealing with you. We are A+ rated on the Better Business Bureau. It's because of our methodical process of free education, of educating individuals before they ever make a decision. We want you to be part of the process. We don't just want to instruct you on, solely what to do. We want to show you this is why certain things make sense. This is maybe you're better off just staying exactly where you're put, but it's at least worth a try to give us a call, 1-800-566-1002, deal with the specialist and see for yourself, whether or not we can help you out or whether or not we could educate you guys properly. So thank you so much for watching this video. Feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Retire Sharp, so you have access to the most updated videos. Thanks so much, guys.